What is good? And today, what we're going to be focusing on is more so of importing some products. I think we're getting very close to start advertising. I might have to pre-fill some of the social media pages with just some content, but not there yet. Right now, I yesterday was trying to import more products into the store from AutoDS, but I was having some issues. For instance, right here, I'm not sure if it's properly importing or not. Oh, I think it imported. So perhaps it should be good. Okay, I think it's good. Maybe. Okay, it imported. So I guess the support yesterday fixed it, which was a problem because there's no way in hell I could import any products, which is a big red flag from AutoDS, and that's not the first time I experienced that. So there's a few products here we're thinking of importing, and then I'm gonna see if I can record the whole entire experience of showcasing how the bot pretty much gets everything. You know what I mean? I want to run a full autonomous run with the bot and presenting it to you guys of like what this shit can do. Now, some things I noticed happening was concurrently the Kimi API and the Gemini was running up a bill. I had to go through the code I was working with Claude to see if there's anything I can troubleshoot to see if I can optimize or reduce the cost because it was just burning unnecessary tokens and APIs. So I was running into some errors, even just overnight. I mean, it wasn't much, but still, it's like, why am I burning these tokens for no reason? I realize that some of the processes here, they are kind of token heavy, but I mean, at the end of the day, if you can have this crazy intelligent model do all this for you versus in like a VA, it's 100x better. I'd rather pay for that versus a VA that can only do one specific task. Plus, all this it could be potentially automated. Anyway, that's just kind of like a mental reframe. What I'm focusing right now is I spawned a research agent, so it should bring back the so a new set of products we can import. I'm still trying to populate the store because there's honestly not that many products. These are just some filler products, which honestly I'm gonna have to delete. But these products are here. After running through multiple times with the bot, the bot did pretty much all of this. It did the description, create the sales page, create these images. It's quite autonomous if you ask me. Properly set up the pricing. Some things here which probably should, like I couldn't get it to fill it out, but I'm pretty sure maybe there's some workaround. I haven't got to it yet. But right now it's really just about filling up the store so it's not just an empty shop when I open up. And then once we open up, all it really is from there is just throwing ads and seeing how we can get the bot to run and create ads. I'm pretty excited. We're almost there past the phase of just importing and creating products. Total pain in the ass, by the way. And by the way, I think honestly, if I skipped this, honestly, I might skip it depending on how many products there is because it is kind of token heavy. I'm not sure. But I really just wanted to get to advertising and see if the products it's researching and suggesting are actually profitable because the methodology it's following is not something typical like you find on dropshipping communities or videos. It's actually the traditional model I used to follow, which is really you want to find products that are untapped and not really popular because my thinking and philosophy is if you're basically just selling what everyone else is selling, it's just a race to the bottom because every store has the product already. You want to find new value offers, new products to the market that are untapped and that could potentially you can monopolize and even just run up a bag because you're one of the first people scaling it. I taught the bot this methodology and I wanted to find products like that. And some of these products are quite interesting because I don't want to say they're low key, and for all I know, this could be totally off. So here it's already done with the research. So we'll check out some of the products in just a moment. But Yeah, I probably should also prompt it to be like, yo, why are you putting this in this markdown file? Why don't you just give me the links, right? But found some products here according to the criteria that I'm looking for. And that's kind of the methodology. You want to find products that are untapped and then that you can just scale. So we're going to try to run meta ads, follow just the playbook as before. We're going to mostly just stick to image ads. And if this thing can find products, test them, and scale them, I think that's where the biggest value add is. That's the biggest value add here. And everything else in terms of the operations behind the store, from optimizing product pages, making a better store, all these other micro things, even customer service, these are all things I can easily automate right now. It's not even that hard. The biggest value add to this, to any person in e-commerce, whether you're dropshipping or running an e-commerce store, is truly going to be if I can spin this shit up and it can just start printing money. That's what I think every single e-commerce store owner wants. And it's like you just have this intelligent brain in your store, managing your store, scaling, running ads, cutting ads, finding products, and just milking, you know what I mean? The web. That's going to be the biggest value add and the biggest transformational like value prop to this thing if it can do that. And I'm pretty sure we're at that moment in time where it's possible right now. That's kind of the thesis. And I think there's something I can do here. I just kind of have to get to that step and then see from there what I can stretch this thing to do. And at the end of the day, guys, I'm not saying I'm some sort of expert with this. It's just mostly play and experimentation and just kind of pushing the boundary of what these AIs and tools can do. You know, no one's an expert here. No one really knows what the hell these things are capable of or what they're doing because, I mean, sometimes people like to think very one-sided, right? But then next thing you know, the AI is like, oh, did you know you could do this? But it's just not within our paradigm to think like that. And sometimes these things could just give amazing ideas or suggestions that you have not even thought otherwise. We're going to see where we go with this. I think I'm onto something here, and it's really just getting out this boring stuff with the store. I'm almost there. It's almost done. It's a pain in the ass, but we're almost there. And very soon we're going to be able to launch the store. And then from there, we could just work it backwards and then optimize and automate all the boring shit. You know what I mean? I just kind of wanted to run through everything from the beginning, from ground to start, because at least there's like some sort of log, some sort of notes. But then once you already have the store, all it really is just fixing the store, finding the right things to sell, and then just scaling ads. That's where 80% of the value proposition is. Anyone can get better at creating a store. You can outsource store creation, whatever. But if this thing can also do that, awesome, right? The whole idea here is just really just to integrate this bot into your business and it'll just make you money. That's what I'm trying to do here. But yeah, I'm gonna, you know what, since like I'm on the thread of showing you guys the report, I'm gonna just show you guys the report here. Let's see. I'm gonna show you guys. Okay, where's the file? Okay, so here's the file. I gotta prompt this thing and be like, yo. Okay, one thing. So obviously there's some things you have to refine. Okay, there's some shit I have to refine here because it's not what I'm trying to do. All right, let me get back to this real quick. All right, guys, quick update. I realized that sometimes in my bot, whenever I start a new session or I'm just doing things, I need it to be very specific. So I think I have to improve the memory here. And right now I'm pretty much just migrating the whole concepts and ideas I had from my obsidian.md architecture in terms of like how I am pretty much navigating everything. So there is a lot of stuff here, a lot of concepts, but I have a very clear way how to navigate my whole entire map in Obsidian. And I'm going to plan on making a video maybe in a few days, maybe just specifically for OpenClaw and stuff like that, or just agents in general, and seeing if this memory architecture makes it any better, because I think knowledge graphs are one of the most powerful ways and how you can give the bot directionality in terms of memory, how to chunk information, and how to properly retrieve and use it and automatically update it versus me completely always prompting it. I know this is a big ass problem here, and honestly, I think it's a better way how to use and run these agents. So it's not just in a simple directory, it's creating these daily logs, which I think is good because right now you see all like these red dots. All these red dots are pretty much just journal entries inside of my Obsidian. I'll go more deeper into the concept, and I know some of you are probably not interested in this shit, but I think it's a pretty important insight I had, not just for the agent, but the whole entire project I'm working on here, because it's going to be very important, especially if you have your own autonomous agent, how to work through everything you have in your business. I'm going to make a more detailed explained video on this, but I think it's an important concept to talk about and grasp and mention here because I think this can significantly improve the memory of the bot and how it's working and navigating and using resources and just being very efficient. That's like the most important thing here. I'll go more deeper into it, say maybe like Friday or Saturday. So there'll be a separate video specifically just for that. But in the meantime, I just wanted to bring it up here because I think it's very important. All right, after making a improvisation, after I improvised, I think that's the word, on the memory, I think I'm ready to let this thing take a shot at just fully importing a product. I'm going to tell it to work on this product first. It's kind of tricky. So I'm really curious to see what the hell it's going to do. Because like right now, when you import these products, I'm just going to show you the before and after. Oops. I'm going to show you the before and after of what this product is right now. So this is the whole entire product page. I'm going to see if I can just one prompt it with the methodology and some of the insights I guided the bot through the previous conversations and see if it can totally revamp this product in just like one prompt. Now, in the previous two iterations, the first one was obviously the longest. I had to figure shit out. Second one was much faster, it took less prompts, and then this one I'm hoping it knows exactly what to do. One thing I am kind of skeptical about is when I was this morning trying to figure out where these random API requests are being sent, or like why. I don't know if it changed anything internally, so hopefully it didn't. I mean, everything looks all right. I'm just going to see if it can fully go ahead and one prompt it. But before that, because I set the image, I think with the Kimi model, it wasn't reading images properly. So I'm just going to send a picture right now to see if it reads it and then just confirm back with you guys. All right, so I just had a few things I had to go over with the bot. I think it's ready to go. So we're going to see this product. It's full transformation end to end. Now let's see what it does. This may take a few minutes. I'm not sure how long it takes because before I was going step by step with the bot. This could take 5 minutes, this could take 10 minutes, this could take 20 minutes. But at the end of the day, it gives me the freedom to do whatever I want in the meantime, assuming it works. I think there may be a couple flaws in the beginning. Who knows? It's a bit tricky too because some of these are actually pretty decent images. You see what I mean here? So some of these are some pretty solid images if you ask me. Maybe there's probably something I should have guided it where it's like, yo, I mean, these are some nice images. what if we could reuse them? You know what I mean? But that's going to be for a future iteration, so it doesn't waste tokens, because we're also generating new, better images with Gemini Pro 3. We'll see. You know what I mean? Because honestly, everything is pretty much here. We'll see if the AI has the intelligence. Like I said, I'm using Kimi 2.5 right now. Better model, in my opinion, than 3 Flash for this. You know what I mean? And one really good thing is just I haven't ran into the whole rate limit issues I was on the first few days of recording everything here. One thing I did wish Telegram did was it would send messages of like, yo, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm working on right now, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, I think the way Telegram operates right now is there's a single queue where only one message at a time can be sent. But right now, I bet you the bot in the background is saying like, okay, now I'm doing this, now I'm doing that, now I'm doing this, blah, blah, blah. But that's not capable right now in Telegram. So unfortunately, we're just going to wait for all the messages to flood all the way at the very end of everything complete. We'll see. You know what I mean? So I will come back when everything is complete, so we don't have to just sit in silence and watch pretty much nothing happen in the meantime. So it's all pretty much just going to flood all the way at the end. All right, so I found out you can get reasoning traces inside one of the local host chat sessions. So I can now see this versus in Telegram, which doesn't allow that right now. I noticed the bot basically made some updates in the meantime. So one stupid thing it did was, I guess, delete all the media. So I'm really curious to see what the hell is it going to do, or if it just deleted all the media, because now there's literally no media for this product, which I guess it's a mistake. You know what I mean? So we'll see what the bot does with this, because it just literally deleted everything. So that's not a good thing. You know what I mean? I think I have to make it somehow more strict and prevent this from happening in the future, but it's still doing its thing. We'll see what happens. All right, so I basically told the bot, it gave a total failure of a run. This thing totally flopped, deleted the images. I think maybe it's because my session context here is getting too long, or maybe it just kind of forgot, or I just didn't read the information properly. But it was a total failure, and definitely have to fix some bugs here. I mean, you used the wrong image model. It didn't update the product template properly. And yeah, there's just some mistakes here. I gotta fix it. All right, yo, big update. Made some tweaks to this bot, and I re-imported the whole entire product. And right now what we're witnessing is the bot is optimizing the product page for the criteria we set out. So we're going to see what it does. We're going to see how it generates the images, what it does with these images. This one's going to be really tricky, but that's the whole point. It should know. So I think there's probably going to have to be decision trees in terms of how it's making decisions. I might have to create a better structure for these decision trees within the OpenClaw framework. So we'll see about that, but I don't know. I have so many ideas right now in terms of how we can use memory and knowledge graphs and then decision trees for it to like route proper decisions. Right now we're still witnessing this, and I was wondering, I was like, yo, where you at, bro? So seems like it just got straight to work, and I refreshed and I was like, oh crap, let me just quickly unpause and just let you guys know what the hell is happening. Because previously it was a total flop, you know what I mean? It was a total flop on the previous run. But right now we see it's doing better. It deleted a variant that was inconsistent with the original. There was one with sound, and then there was also one with, what's it called? There was like a 2-piece. So sometimes what these suppliers do is so there's a shit ton of updates right now. So I wonder what the hell it's gonna, whoa. So it's like doing all this crap right now. What the hell is... So there was also like another variant where there were 2 pieces of this ball in the variant, and that's not what we want. You know what I mean? We just wanted all of them to be consistent. All right, so I don't know if this thing's tweaking right now. Okay. I'm going to cross my fingers. Okay, I'm gonna cross my fingers, guys. I'm gonna refresh this thing, and we're gonna see if this thing fucked up or if it pulled some sense into its head. All right, it fucked up. All right, but it did a better job this time. Just didn't generate the images. It definitely applied the right theme. Oh damn! So it applied the theme. It put pictures into it, but the only thing it didn't do is apply images. Okay, so apply the images. It didn't apply the sales copy here. That's one thing it forgot. It did the description. So I mean, imagine if you could just do this all in one shot and then it just does this thing, right? And that's the whole goal here. So we're getting close, you know what I mean? But it's still a bit messy in terms of, and then also I'm noticing the prices, they're like all the same on the store. So I have to figure out what the hell is going on with that. But we're getting there, we're getting somewhere. And honestly, at this point, we just have to fine tweak it. So, I mean, this was a better run than the previous one. At least it didn't delete the images. Also, another issue is the images failed in Replicate. They totally failed in Replicate. And if you guys don't know what this is like a site where there's a bunch of APIs. You can hook up your bots, your AI agents, or whatever, your app to them, and then get the image, extract the image, import it. But right now it seems like Nano Banana Pro is tweaking, it's failing, which isn't good. And I guess the bot didn't, I don't know, maybe it just didn't get the knowledge or whatever to like know what to do with it, and it just totally flopped. It didn't even mention anything. No Gemini Pro API for cleaning. Wait, final summary. Supply images still have text overlays. Nano Banana Pro failed. Okay, so it knows it failed. Manual cleanup or try AI regeneration later. Okay, so it did a way better. You know what I mean? It did way better this time. There's a few things we have to clean up here, but you guys are seeing the potential in what I'm working on here, but still not perfect. Okay, guys, I think I found the solution for how we can make everything truly fucking autonomous and using all these tools. So we can pretty much integrate with Composio or any of these platforms that basically get MCP servers enabled for a lot of these other softwares. So they have Shopify, which I mean, we already have basically API access. They have Meta ads. They probably have TikTok ads. And they don't have AutoDS or like any of these platforms. So I submitted a request, but I think this is going to be what makes it fucking easy for the agent to do its thing. But we'll see. You know what I mean? So I'll have a status update on that sometime in the future, but this is kind of what I just realized. All right, so I refined the bot just a bit, and now we're going to see what it does with some of this information here, and then how it completes it. So I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty curious, and we're going to see what it does. So right now it's doing its thing, and it should be done probably in a few minutes. In the meantime, was basically editing another product. I'm just gonna save this very quick. Alright, don't mind the background noise. There's some maintenance being done in the house. But I'm gonna refresh it, and we're gonna see what the hell this bot did. Okay, so clearly play. So I modified the sections, didn't change the price. And it only created one image. Interesting. Okay, after some After some prompts, the bot, I basically got it to fix some things, and quite surprisingly, the GPT 1.5 image model is quite good. So now check this out. I didn't modify any of this stuff. It basically inserted it, it fixed the sales copy here, it pretty much set the product images, and I mean, pretty much did a good job, really good job through some more prompt iterations. So I'm not sure if it's because the session context is getting quite long, or if it's just because the markdown file for the scale is just getting incredibly long. The only image that is kind of fucked is this one right here. It's just kind of off, so I'm personally going to delete that, and then maybe we will deal with an issue like that in the future on another run. But overall, it generated all these images, which isn't bad at all. I'm going to accept this metadata here, set the pricing, set the images for this. These are all AI generates, if you guys don't remember. It set the sales page here again. And yeah, so this is kind of where we're at, and it's not bad, you know what I mean? So way better run on this case. But I mean, even though this took a few tweaks to get it right, I mean, I'm still not saying it's perfect or anything like that. It kind of pissed me off, but definitely getting there. It's definitely getting better than it was before. Okay, there's another issue that I think I've been coming up with, and that's the concept of decision trees. And I'm thinking of potentially structuring decision trees as like there's these skills, and then you have a decision tree directory, and then there's these different decision trees where within the skill it gets referenced, so the file doesn't get incredibly inflated. And with that said, I think the bot can make way better decisions. I think I may even make a video on this depending on how it goes, but this is something I'm going to experiment with. But I thought it was something emergent that came across my research and experimentation with everything going on here. So right now the bot is working on a new product. It's working on this one. It's kind of quite nuanced. Doesn't really have much information, but it's doing its thing here. In the meantime, I'm kind of brainstorming with this sort of decision tree thing. Okay guys, so this thing's coming in, just finished. I refreshed the page here. This is what it currently looks like of the product. So this is the after, by the way. Surprisingly goddamn good. The only thing here it didn't do is properly format the description, which is something I have to reiterate on. But check this out, guys. Not bad at all. I mean, look at this. We're almost fucking there. This was pretty much in one prompt. I was just kind of tweaking it. I was just talking through some ideas before I started it, and it just did all this. It fucking did all this shit. Yo, isn't this good? Isn't this good, guys? Look at this. The only thing I would probably suggest is, get this out of here. Guys, I'm cooking. We're cooking with this thing, guys. It's getting way better, way better. All right. Just a quick little update. Right now, what I'm doing is I'm training the agent to update the skill, and I'm training it literally on all these nuances of how to deal with certain products, how to deal with certain images, and then what to do in these case scenarios. I'm not sure if I'm going to have to include like a knowledge bank or some sort of directory per skill or per decision tree. I'm not sure, but this is really important because when the bot is going through things, it has to know how to work with certain nuances. You know what I mean? And especially with AliExpress, it's a total freaking mess. All right. Was just going back and forth with the bot. Now this one is very tricky. This is a very tricky product. So as you can see here, nothing really is updated. Shitty AliExpress images. And sorry about the noise. All I want to say, all right, the noise is not going to stop. So all I'm going to say is hopefully we can just have this all ready and done in 1 or 2 prompts. I think we're getting to that point. All right, guys, I specifically didn't refresh the page, but I was monitoring and seeing whether or not the images were going through. And honestly, I don't know. We're going to see. We're going to see when I refresh this page if it did everything crystal clear. And keep in mind, this is one prompt. This is one prompt. We're going to see if it worked or if it fucked up really bad. Okay. Yo, this shit cooked. Okay. It did everything. Guys, it did everything. This thing cooked. This was in one prompt. This thing cooked. Yo, this thing cooked. This was in one prompt. This shit cooked. This is crazy. It pretty much did everything. I don't know why, but I guess in the API, it's like these category things aren't adding, and which is fine. This shit cooked. So this pretty much means we're almost there, or pretty much every single kind of product we add, it can just cook like this. So imagine doing hundreds of these at scale. And then you can pretty much test hundreds of products, or I don't know, like whatever the hell you guys are using this for. This shit cooked. The only thing it did something different on is this, which is fine. There's always going to be one thing, but still pretty much the exact product. Guys, this thing freaking cooked. Damn, I'm kind of mind blown right now. I'm excited, guys. You know what I mean? Like yesterday, today, this shit was tweaking. Today, though, we cooking. All right, now what's going on is we are about to import this product. So as you can tell, it looks pretty terrible. Images, whatever, some nuance. I integrated a new concept into the bot where it's called decision trees. I'm thinking of probably publishing these as GitHub repos where you guys can pretty much just access them. I'll probably make a mention of that either in the video or somewhere else, or just make a separate video about it. But decision trees, and we got super strong memory. So 2 innovative concepts that just came out with today, which I think are going to be super useful for the bot and just moving forward. And also too, just if you're using OpenClaw or like any of these other agents, I think they're really useful concepts. Now, what we're going to expect from this I wonder if the bot knows that there's this good image right here. But yeah, that's what we're working on right now. So hopefully you can zero shot or just one prompt this, and then everything's done. Making the bot more and more intelligent over time. And it's getting better, right? It's getting quicker to import products, whatever we're working on. I think these are all the products we imported today, and it's not bad if the AI literally ran through all of them. And then I kind of had to get into the groove of knowing how the hell to like guide this thing, working back. Now, the only thing I do kind of have some questions in mind is starting a new session with the bot and then being like, yo, let's import this product now. I wonder what new sessions are going to do with the bot. So I'd rather just finish this session here. Also just see what it's like working with like decision trees. And if you don't know what I mean here by decision trees, let going to show you in just a second. Excuse me. So basically the concept, if you can see my screen, I mean there's more than just this in the actual root folder of this whole entire bot, but decision trees are complementary to skills. They have their own directories, and then within the trees of whatever skill you're working with, there are files like this of decisions and how do you want them to proceed. So if there's a certain decision that has to be made or a certain case you run into, you go through these files. So rather than having a massively inflated skill.md file, you can just point to bot and be like, yo, if you run into this situation, go to this file and this decision. It's like way better for the bot, you know what I mean, versus just feeding it a massively inflated skill.md file, because this file already here itself that we got for just importation, before it was probably 30 to 40,000 tokens, maybe more. Now it's 25,000. So it's a solid cut, maybe 30%, somewhere around there, in token size, so it doesn't have to waste unnecessary resources and also to take up much of your context for the chat. And I'll just update you guys once this thing is done, because we still have to wait. But yeah, that's what we got working. Alright guys, moment of truth. Got sidetracked with a few things, but let's see. Alright, I am going to refresh the page. Remember, so this is the previous product. It's pretty much, I didn't do anything on this page. I'm going to refresh it. I have no idea what the bot did. Oh. So we're almost there. Look at this. So a few things it didn't do actually. I mean, still pretty impressive. So clearly, it didn't update the section. It left this one image. But overall, pretty solid. It just literally left this one image here. Not bad if you ask me. Pretty good. So I just gotta refine it and just mention it, ask what the heck happened here. But overall, pretty solid. Almost getting there. Alright, so I created a new session. I wanted to make sure everything that the bot had is still intact and everything still seems to be working quite fine. Bot understands what decision trees are, what the memory is, the tools it can use and things of that nature. And before I initiate a research prompt to go out and find some new products to focus on to research, I'm just double checking some things here to make sure it knows what kind of categories to focus on, because when you're testing products or whatever, I'm just trying to productize what's in my brain into this agent. I'm just downloading my consciousness into this agent. And I'm just trying to think through different case scenarios. So whether there is a product focus, such as we're focusing primarily on a specific category, for instance, it could be feeders, it could be dispensers, it could be leashes, then you only want to focus on that. The more variables you eliminate and you just focus on one variable at a time when you test, the higher odds of your success is, because then you just have to flip out one simple variable. Just pretty much operationalizing my thought process and how I do things into the bot. And it's actually quite powerful how strongly it can follow instructions and stuff. I suppose it's even better on more powerful models such as like Opus or Claude or something like that, but right now we're just working with Kimi. It's the most budget friendly, at least for my situation right now. And unfortunately I was thinking of updating to or upgrading to Opus and then use the token that they provide where you can pretty much use your subscription plan. But just today I literally found out that they updated their policy, something like that, where they prevent some sort of outside parties, whatever, to use their tokens to basically use the subscription for that. It's quite bullshit if you ask me, because I heard friends using Opus. They would pay $200 for like the max plan, and then they would just run Opus on this thing. It was extremely powerful. I guess there was like a small time frame for that, maybe about a month, you know what I mean, before they patched it, but now it's gone now. Fortunately, can't use it. But these models are getting intelligent, so we just have to work with what we got here. I'm about to launch a new product research thing and just continue populating the store. Honestly, just boring shit and just training the bot. But at some point, once it's trained and I think it has enough case scenarios to know how to import the product properly, we can then get into testing ads. And I already have an idea exactly how this thing could just run specific tools and calls to launch ads just in the air without having to open Business Manager or anything like that. I mean, we'll still see because I have to experiment and play. But, dude, I really think we can... It's crazy. I really think this thing is just going to be able to like launch, manage, and configure ads. It's pretty freaking crazy, if you ask me. It's pretty raw. But roughly right now with Kimmy, given how many tokens I'm burning, so I'm burning probably about $10 worth of tokens every single day, if anyone's wondering. So roughly $1 for Gemini with like heartbeats, and there's probably some other things it's burning tokens on, which I'm not sure. I gotta figure out. I also, I don't know why, but something in Telegram is tweaking with the bot where it's not reading images properly, so I don't know what the hell it's doing there. But we're using 4.0 mini ChatGPT for image processing and visual input, and then Kimi for text and files and things of that nature, which seems to be working fine now, all in conjunction with 3. I don't know why I'm using 3 here. I should probably just use a stupid cheap model for the heartbeats, but we'll see. Right now, this is working quite fine. I might actually update tomorrow or something about the heartbeats, but I don't really think I have a need for that right now. But yeah, right now I'm pretty solid. Solid stuff. Deleted some of the old filler products, and I'm not sure if I told you guys, but I remember we were fixing this shit earlier, this product, but I mean, you know, the bot did all this, you know what I mean? It did it all, did it nicely. Had to prompt it a few times to properly add it into the store, but if you ask me, it looks pretty darn solid, so I am pretty happy. So yeah. Alright, I think we're gonna call it here. We're just gonna get back with the products tomorrow and just continue populating the store. And then very soon we should be able to launch some ads, probably by close to the end of the week, so we'll see.